there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Laststandgamers, and welcome. So today we're taking a look at the new update, and as usual, I'm going to do a quick and concise look at it. So first off, we've got a few free things with this update. We've also got a few things added in a decorative pack for $3.99. Now, people are a bit on the fence about that sort of stuff, but Space Engineers needs to continue development, and it needs money to do that, so it's fair enough in my opinion. So let's have a look at what we've got our hands on here. So first off, let's go to P. We've got ourselves some new armor skins. The first one is the Battered armored skin. So you can see the room is all nice and rusty at the moment. But if I grab myself a block and just paint it all, you can see how it can completely change up an environment. It's much lighter. You can see the texture on it. It's like this, some dirty little muck stains here and there, but it's really nice and quite a vibrant when you've got all these little bolt heads and different riveting in locations. You can see where the oil and or whatnot has rusted over time as water's built up on the surface. A really cool texture. So the next texture that we've got ourselves is going to be the Camouflage. Now this is one great texture if you want to turn any location into a strip club, because it's less camouflage when it's in a white variant like this, and you kind of get the feel. Combine that with a light and everything's going wrong. So we then have my personal favorite, the rusty armor. So I'm going to select grey for the rusty armor, and we are going to put that in here. So there we go. We've got this dark, horribly rusty texture on everything. It makes you scream tetanus. If you prick your finger on one of these corners, you're going to have a shot or something. Luckily enough, when you have the new lab bay. Talking about that, let's have a look at these new blocks. So let's hit this little light. There we go. First up, we have ourselves the vending machine. Of course, we need to get ourselves a nice beverage. If you want a hot cosmic coffee, they've got you covered. If you want a Klang cola, they've got you covered as well. So having a look at this block, you can see they've got the LCD. It looks like a standard refreshment type stand. Just look at that rust though, how it really looks like it's eaten away with that texture map at the actual block. This is going to be great for decorating stations and making a little bit of money, as well as these have a little bit of help to your health. If your health is low, you can quickly grab one and return your health up a little. So let's launch ourselves a Klang cola. Quite literally launch ourselves a Klang cola, because you can see the Klang cola launches out with so much power it goes across the whole room. So just take a look at the bottom left of the screen. This is currently an interesting thing. You can see it just launches out right now. We also have the Cosmic Coffee. That is a little bit more calm. So you can see that just rolls out the bottom there. We can pick that up and use that to re-energize ourselves. Now, next, moving on, we have the Jukebox. That is actually playing currently the heavy fighting music. Something to be aware with this block, if you go into your options and you do not have the audio music playing, as you can see there, you will not hear the music coming from the jukebox, and you can see it's actually 3D sound, like so. I personally always leave my audio off just because it makes life a little bit easier for recording these videos and overlaying the music afterwards. But yeah, we've got some basic options here, and we've got a lot of tracks to choose from. We've got fast forward, so we can move to calm, we can move to angry fight music if we want to, but we can access the menu here and basically queue up any track that we like. We've also got fun music, so if we add that one to the selection and play, I need to put my audio settings back up. You can see it'll now kick into action with the fun music. Oh, I didn't save it, Aaron. Aaron, you've got to save the options, haven't you? Silly me. So there we go. And play. Oh. See, there we go. We have some fun music, so when you're building away, you can have some real fun in your workshop. Perfect. Okay, now let's get the audio back off before it destroys my eardrums. There we go. Okay, so we've got fun music. We also have the lab station. Lab station here is a very crucial block, but I don't think it's going to be very good in this texture. Luckily, we have some nice clean armor that we can apply to this lab station, so let's do that right now before we take a look at this. So you can see it's a real nice little lab station. It's got some sort of item up there. I'm guessing you can test experiments. You've got these massive injectors on here, as well as some test tubes. Just a really cool one to decorate the room. You've got this like side tray here, and there's something high voltage going on there. I can only imagine it's to do with this device. Now next up, we have ourselves a shower. We had a toilet, but we had no way of cleaning ourselves before, so now we've got ourselves a little mirror. We've got ourselves a shower block, so if I just bring my camera over here, we can actually have a look a little closer at the detail in here. We've got the sink. You can see there's a stealthy little slit there for the water to waste away. And we also have the shower there. So we've got a shower head, we've got a bar to grab onto in case you lose gravity out in space. One there as well, and you've got some various depositors of whatever product you're putting in your hair, and a nice little towel rack on the side. So very nice, bit of hygiene in our very rusty station. Next up, we also have the medical station. This to me looks like a CAT scan type system. Now, the only thing we can actually mess around with a lot of these blocks is going to be the LCDs. We can change the color and have a mess with the font. We could add extra information to these. So if you wanted to do a cinematic experience, you could add the name of the patient and some of the other things. But the detailing on this little ring is really cool. We've got some little plugs down at the bottom. We've also got this dangerous, strong magnetic field, and it gives you, they're so clear you can actually read the warnings. Oh wow. So as you can see there, we have got this little system. Very cool. Very nice indeed. So next up, we have ourselves the catwalks. Now the catwalks come in different sizes. We've got grated stairs, we've got half grated stairs. The one in front of me is the half grated, so you can see it's quite narrow, good for tucking into a smaller design. We also have the wider one, so if you need to pass someone on your station, this could be useful. The great thing about these and all these grated catwalks is that you can see through them, so you can actually see what's going on the other side instead of having to grind down the other blocks that we had. So continuing on that grated catwalk subject, you can see we've also got different variants. We've got all the variants that the standard catwalk has and a flat one there. If you do not want a rail on your stairs, what is also pretty cool is you can just turn the stairs upside down like I've done here. So you can see the rails on the other side and you can still navigate and go up and down it. And in this case, it allows the vehicle to drive across that without getting caught on the rail. So next up, we actually have ourselves an LCD screen. But this is not any one. This is a clear LCD screen. So you can actually see straight through it. This is going to be great for CICs, any sort of command centers where you need to get a lot of information from one side to the other and see people moving around. You could also use this as a way of projecting information from a trader's booth. Loads of cool concepts with it. So if we go back to our G menu, we can see we also have railings in various versions. Now, we've got the standard 1x1 like this. We've also got a double-sided one. We also have, more importantly, a diagonal one. Now that diagonal one is basically going to allow us to just frame areas that we couldn't do in the past and to keep our astronauts safe. Health and safety have approved definitely of this update. So next up, let's have a look at the cockpit. Now this small cockpit has raised a lot of debate by players. So if I just pop myself in here, bring my camera over, a lot of people felt this should have been free. But in reality, it really doesn't bring anything extra to the table in terms of gameplay. All it is an exposed cockpit. It has one screen on the bottom, a good field of visibility, of course. But in reality, it's really not going to affect your game that much. So inside this little ship, I've put one in, so you can just see we've got a much better field of view. It's great for rovers, this cockpit. And once you're doing that, we can head out on whatever exploration we want to do. And hang on, what's that on the back of the rover? Is that a ladder? This means ladders are now available for small grids. So this means you can get yourself into your rover, you can use them to rescue people, you can almost build yourself a fire truck. So ladders on small rovers are going to make things exceptionally cool, especially getting into larger ships as well. You can lower your ladder down and climb aboard. Very cool indeed. There's also a few of these things you might see flashing around. These are the rotating light blocks. Now these have a number of settings. I'll actually jump into this cockpit here because this little truck has one on top. So if we go to the light, we find ourselves the rotating light. Of course we can change the color as usual, but what's more interesting is we actually change the rotational speed, so we can go from dead slow like a warning to an alarm going off like this. Very, very cool and both functional indeed. They're very good near airlocks, so you can warn people before you depressurize an area and they suffocate. So a great little system. More and more health and safety approved equipment coming from Keen. Great to see them doing that. So let's go finally back to the G menu. Something I haven't covered is these little freight blocks here. Now these freight blocks are going to be great for if you don't want to build a large cargo container but you still need to transport things around. The reason for this is they don't really take up too many supplies, some basic construction components and interior plates, so they might be an advantage using these on smaller rovers or indeed just when you're starting your survival. The only issue is of course they cannot be connected up. Jumping back into the G menu, you'll notice they've also changed a lot of the blocks. It looks a lot different, the menus, and that's because they've confined a lot of the blocks into a singular sort of tab. So you can see the beacon the antenna are all in one, and this is the same with a lot of other blocks in the menu. So blocks haven't been deleted. Some people were worrying about that already. They've just been compressed down into these, so it's not as much clutter on the menu, because as they add more blocks and do things like this, of course the clutter will happen. So you can see we've got the button panel, we've got the control panel stuck in there as well, so don't panic about it. Blocks haven't been removed. Anyway, I'd like to wrap that video up there. A very cool update, and I'd love to hear your opinions on the DLC as well. Do you think it's a good idea? Don't you like it? What's your opinions on the cockpit? But anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.